you have to hold that in?
Yes, I did.
Are you shaking what your mama gave you? Oh my god. Oh my god, I just saw that.
Can we get a zoom in on that, please?
Here, how about, I'm sure that the camera can't see, but your head is right here. So why don't you lift up a little bit? Sit up a little bit? Stand up a little bit?
Oh, I don't want them to see the stain on my shirt.
Huh? Oh no, just a little bit.
See the little sweet nectar stains on the
Pull
shirt.
your shirt up a little bit, though. It's like really cropped tight in your face. There's a big spaghetti stain.
Mom spaghetti.
Oh my god. All right.
Yeah, that shirt's hilarious. I'm sexy and I know it.
I think I got this shirt in like grade 9, and it still fits me.
Excellent.
Good job.
Anyways, boys. How have you all been? I think we have the
Fantastic.
opener. Do we need like banter right at the beginning?
I think so. A little bit.
Well, no, because like we're just laughing for like 5 minutes. Opener and welcome to another episode of Hotline Hangout. Oh no, that's okay. I wish I had more fingers. I would have given you some echo. My name is Shane, and I'm joined today by my one and only co-host.
James, I'm stealing it.
Oh, wow, Steve.
Should have took it while you had the chance.
Demoted.
And my other one and only co-host, Stephen Murphy.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Steven.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Wow, I'm totally thrown off now. What do I do? James stole all of our thunder. Let's me and you leave. Let James host the podcast.
There
You know,
you go.
you guys talked so much last episode.
It's like,
I decided like this is my
my turn.
episode.
James, the James episode.
We're
The
gonna
one where
talk
he
about-
talked.
We're gonna talk about Magic the whole time and CRTVs and Smash Brothers. That's all we're
Oh
doing.
my god.
Everyone can
That
close the
sounds-
video now because no one else is gonna watch. But you know,
That sounds horrible.
it's gonna sound great.
Well, if you want to talk about magic, what about if $120,000 magically showed up in your bank account, James?
Ooh.
I'd cry.
He would buy $120,000 worth of magic cards and maybe a pack of Skittles.
What flavor Skittles?
I actually don't like Skittles.
Oh.
I like M&M's more.
M&M's? Okay, that's reasonable.
That's fair. I
Yeah.
very much like peanut M&Ms. Do you like the peanut ones?
I like plain.
What? Stevie, how about you? What kind of M&Ms?
Or Skittles.
I don't know. Anything, really. I don't know.
I like the ones with almonds or peanuts in them.
Yeah, they're like the yellow
crunch.
packet ones. Yeah.
I like the crunchy
They're
ones.
fantastic.
Yeah, man. So speaking of this one time, my roommate went to Costco and bought like the 5 kilogram bag of
Oh my god.
M&Ms, or maybe it was 1 kilogram. I don't know, but like I was having a real tough time keeping my hand out of that bag, and then one day I was like, you know what? If I just finish the bag, then there won't be any more for me to eat, and then I can stop eating them.
Logic.
And then I finished the bag, and he went out and bought another one. And I'm like, fuck.
Woke up the next morning with gestational diabetes.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, you know, it took a lot to tear myself away from those things.
So you're saying I should buy you one bag?
Oh no, I don't need that many. That was exhilarating. Oh, those things are so good.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, what a time to be alive. 1 kilogram bag. That's a lot. That's a lot of M&Ms. Like that bag was huge. It was gigantic even. But anyways,
So spending your
$120,000.
$20,000 that you'd buy.
Oh, that bag would
M&Ms.
cut away at least like 20, 30 bucks.
So basically, we have a story coming out of where is this? Pennsylvania, Montorville.
That doesn't sound like a real place. Monsterville.
It's a small village in Pennsylvania. So basically, the bank accidentally deposited $120,000 into this couple's account of Robert and Tiffany Williams. Before they can even realize and catch the mistakes, the couple more or less had a tendency of spending it. So the bank's trying to go after them now for
Oh,
theft.
that's ridiculous.
And I think it's just like theft they're specifying in the actual article.
Well, did they get arrested?
Yeah, they got arrested, obviously.
That's insane.
So
I
and
think
they-
that's stupid.
So they also had to pay a bonds as well, obviously, to get out of jail.
Oh, well, what did they get booked for? Theft?
Just theft at this
That's
point.
insane. Because like on one hand, like if anybody does anything in your bank account
Yeah.
that you're not privy to, then like that's theft, right? Like
Yeah.
if people are taking your money. But like if somebody puts money into your account, like that's not theft. Like you did it. You messed up.
Yeah, so basically what happened is before they actually caught or after they caught the incident or the accidental transfer, the couple had spent roughly around $100,000 of it.
Yeah, did you read what it was for? What they spent it on?
Oh yeah, they just spent it on like miscellaneous and
No. So and they refer to it here. They bought a camper, like a motorhome.
Yeah.
They bought a Chevy. I don't know what kind of Chevy, but they bought a car.
yeah.
And then they bought a race car. So these people,
Did I actually buy a race car? Is that what it said?
they bought
Wow.
a Chevy, a camper,
Oh, yeah,
and a
the
race
splurge.
car, according to the state trooper. Imagine that, eh? So $120,000 gets deposited into my
Mm-hmm.
bank account. First thing, student loan gone, right? Because like
Yeah,
you can cancel out theft with theft.
yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh man! But these guys bought 3 vehicles. Like maybe I would buy a vehicle like way later on, and I definitely wouldn't buy 3, and it wouldn't be like luxury vehicles.
Yeah, because like here's one thing I was actually really thinking about. If you then were to just splurge and spend this amount of money, tax season's just right around the corner. So what is like the IRS going to see where they just recently purchased these massive purchases of close to $100,000 worth of goods? And a majority of it too, they actually had like petty cash that they distributed among their friends. Like they gave their friends like $15,000 here, another $15,000 there. So they were kind of doing a little bit of good just because their friends needed it and they had their own debt. But they had a tendency of just splurging and spending because this was about 2.5 weeks worth of them just like spending, buying crap, which is kind of funny too, just because you wouldn't necessarily, you would think that if you had this lump sum of money, because you know how all these banks have their own little protections and everything too, whether there's excess spending happening on your account, when you, or the algorithms that goes out of your normal spending. Do you guys have this like, because I've been contacted when I get like random purchases and the bank's contacted me like, hey, like, are you buying this stuff or is someone take your shit? I was like, oh, no, it's me.
I don't think I ever had that issue.
You never had that issue with like ever? Well, I don't know if you ever made like kind of like bigger purchases, just like a splurge.
Like the biggest purchase I ever make is like buying like a new like video game system. So it's like $600-700 all at once, but never like over that.
Yeah. So I think like normally they might flag it like if it's within like the thousand range or something like that. They maybe it's something out of the ordinary because like normally myself
man.
like I spend like
I had this
miniature
issue one
things.
time. So when the iPhone 10 came out,
Yeah,
I went to go buy that
course.
thing right from Apple, like
Yeah.
cash. I think the purchase came to like $2,000.
Okay.
Roughly, because I bought Apple Care with it or whatever.
yeah,
And taxes and everything. And I'm thinking like, okay, it's 3:00 in the morning. My pre-order's done. I'm getting this phone in a week. Everything is going to be fine and dandy. But then I get an email from Apple. I go to bed, wake up. Oh, excuse me. I go to bed, wake up. I got an email from Apple and it says, hey, sorry, but we can't process your payment. And so I'm like, wait, what? Like, I made sure that like the credit card information was correct and everything like that. I made sure that like this was done, that was done, everything like that. I went into my bank and I like put in like a special spending notification or whatever. So like they already knew that a big purchase was coming.
yeah.
And then it was just not going through. I tried it like 10 times. It just wouldn't go through. And so I called the bank. There's like an hour and a half wait to get on the phone with them. And I'm like, hey, like, why are you guys blocking my purchase? I put a note on here, this, that, whatever. I told you exactly what's going on. And then they like grilled me about this purchase. And then finally they put the damn through. And I had to go through Apple's website, put all the shit through on Apple's website again, and then do it. And I thought like, oh man, like this phone has been sold out for like the first 15 minutes. It was done.
Okay.
It was a 4-week wait for the phone. And like I'd already sold my own phone and everything. I was like so anxious to just get a real phone that worked again.
Yeah.
And then I thought I was going to the back of the line. Luckily, they kept my space.
Oh, they kept it like on hold
And
for you?
No, it just was expecting a payment. I was still first in line.
Oh, okay.
It was a
Wow.
pre-order, right?
Yeah.
So as long as I paid before that shipping date, it would have just stayed
Oh,
there.
that's amazing.
Yeah. So everything worked out.
That's
But yeah, it was super annoying. Another time it happened was when I went to New York. My friend who I was with, his bank like just canceled his card because
Yeah.
they thought it was like stolen.
Wow.
And he was in New York, but he was traveling around the
Oh
states
yeah,
a
yeah.
little
So
bit.
it kind of looked a little fishy, I guess.
Yeah, but they just shut it off. They didn't even call him. So like, imagine that was your only card, and you were in a different country,
very
and like that was the
unfortunate.
card that you were relying on. You didn't have another one.
That's
So
crazy.
moral of the story: always have multiple credit cards.
So here's like the thing too. It wasn't necessarily like these individuals that actually raised focus about this error that happened. It was a bank basically going after these couple. But let's say this would actually happen to you. Wouldn't you like assume, or do you think they could still go after you? So let's say they accidentally do that. Can you just go to your teller and be like, hey, can I get a check? I want to withdraw this money. I want to move banks. And you go to a different location. Do you think, in a sense, they'll still try to track you down for that? Because
Well,
like it took a
yes.
total of like 2.5 weeks for them to do it.
Yeah, you know that's like something that could happen. One thing I thought was funny here is like, yeah, you know, you could do that, and
Yeah.
you might try to come after it a different way. But apparently, what they did was they just took the funds back out of the account after. So, couple they had $1,000 in their account. They spent almost all of it.
But yeah, they spent almost
And
$100,000.
Yeah, and then they were back down to zero again,
Yeah.
which is absolutely insane.
Yes.
And then the bank just said, "Oh, never mind," and then they put them in overdraft
Yeah,
$100,000.
put that in overdraft.
I don't understand how this was like an arrestable offense.
This is
because like
because you got to keep in mind the actual charges and like penalties and fees for the overdraft,
interest. Yeah.
So they charged you for their mistakes at this point. Like that's unbelievable.
Although, like to be fair, like you know, at the same time, like this is a bank account
Yeah.
and money got put in your account. Like you spent 100,000. They gave 15,000 to like friends and family too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, $100,000 isn't a lot of money. $120,000.
It's a lot less than you think it is. Like,
Yeah.
But then again, it's a lot of money to somebody who only had, let's say, what is it, $1,121 in their account, and you just
like,
get
that's
this
fair.
lump sum.
It was like a couple or whatever, but still like $100,000. So I actually read another story. I don't remember where I read this. Probably on Reddit. But so this happened to somebody else where
Yeah.
they accidentally
This actually
deposited-
happens quite frequently.
Yeah, it was just insane. They put like $250,000 into this person's account, and so what this person did was they put all of that money into a high interest savings account.
Yeah.
And they let it sit. It sat for about a year and a half. And then the bank finally contacted them when they found their mistake.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, where did that money go? We're going to need it back. And he was like contemplating like legal action and stuff like this or whatever. But
Yeah.
he was like, you know what? It's sitting in a high interest savings account. I'll give you your money back, but I'm keeping the interest. And so he made about like $20,000.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say because like even if like you were to like outs them, because you wouldn't want a bank, someone who's handling this type of finances to say like, oh, I'm sorry, we screwed up, and like and that gets out to the public. Like, how is that gonna look for that franchise or that bank itself?
Yeah.
But that is.
Well, I
smart,
feel
too.
like they just feel entitled, like they make these mistakes or
Yeah.
whatever. But there should be. Maybe it took them 2.5 weeks of like spending limits and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like, if this happens, like the onus should be on the bank. Like, I don't understand how this
Yeah.
is criminal. Although, like, these people should have called the bank or whatever. But I've heard other stories like this
Yeah.
where like $20,000 gets put in the account. The people call the bank and the bank's just like, oh, whatever, and then they spend it.
Yeah.
And then the bank figures it out, reverses it, and then like they're just screwed.
Yeah, they're just like now in debt
That-
for
that
that
should
X
be,
amount.
you know.
But that's actually really a smart idea because ideally, like, let's say if you were to put it in these investments, like they're locked in. Like, I don't care if you're a bank or not because I think the bank has their own contracts that once you put like some sort of investment in, that's it. Like,
Well,
they
if it's like
can't
a
take it
5-year
out.
GIC or something like that.
Yeah, like in like I'm like okay, I'll give it back to you when it's available now. Like, all right,
James, do you know what a GIC is? You should put some of your money in like a 5-year GIC.
and then
If you put $5,000 in a 5-year guaranteed investment, what does the C stand for? I don't know, GIC. But you put it in for 5 years, they guarantee you that you'll have a 10% return or something like that in 5 years. And then like you put your $5,000 in, 5 years later, it comes out with all the interest compounded on the $5,000.
but yeah,
You just made some money. You locked yourself away from your money for a little bit.
But yeah, that is
you'll be
more or
better
less
off for it.
a smart idea than just like throw it in investments itself, or you could try to take the risk of like taking it all out, withdrawing it, and like put it into another account or something.
Even if you did that though, then they'd just be like, well, whatever. We're
Yeah.
opening this account back up and it's overdrawn. Bam, done.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's such a strange
Yeah,
thing. Though.
so-
I can't believe they did that.
So they're charging them obviously with like felony acts and everything too, and so they had to the post bail was about $25,000 each. So that's $50,000 again right then and there. So now they're in debt of
Theft and
100
receiving stolen property. The courts. How do you?
$70,000.
How are you charged of theft and receiving stolen property? Like all this said and done here, like they shouldn't have spent all that money here so fast, or whatever. At least without inquiring about it. But at the same time, like, how are they going to be placed at fault for it? It'd be like you know, poor people.
Yeah.
Are deprived of like money or whatever, right? Like, you know, that's essentially the idea of being poor. Imagine if you were like deprived of drugs and you were a drug addict, and then like somebody just dumped a bunch of drugs in front of you and then like charged you with doing drugs or whatever for like, you know, just doing them, like, and it wasn't your fault at all. You just did what was in there, right? Like, why? I just don't understand why these people are being charged with theft.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it was wrong. Yeah, there should be some repercussions or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, you know, they're getting like the full force of the law on them because of some stupidity at a big corporation.
Well, because also too, like I was thinking, like the whole IRS situation. So let's say if this would just to panel out and just to kind of happen where they just don't even say anything. So they just have these massive purchases. So they're going to be probably getting attacked by the IRS for like tax evasions or fraud or something like that. And then it's just going to be like a snowball effect from there. You know, where'd you get the money? How'd you get the money? Are you selling things? We're going to investigate. We're going to take these away. Because now they're in like the top 1% tax bracket now for like the states.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know how the states tax system works, but at least in Canada, you wouldn't have a problem with the Canadian tax rate.
No, definitely in the States for the IRS. Like you will
Why
be
wouldn't you have a problem in
classified.
Canada?
Because technically at that point it would be a gift, and the way gifts work in Canada, like I can give you $100,000,
Yeah.
because I already got taxed on the $100,000.
Oh, yeah.
So me giving it to you is no problem.
Is it the same with like a state tax in Canada too? Like if you inherit money from like a relative or something, you don't have to claim it necessarily.
Okay.
Although
Yeah,
you do have to
because it
claim
was-
capital gains. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. So
Yeah, so if you sold your house, you would have to file that.
oh, that's neat. Yeah, I didn't really know about the gift. I think there's a limit of how much you can gift somebody though per year. And I think you might still have to claim it. I'm not sure. Like when I do my taxes, like I think one of the questions is like, have you received any money as a gift? And they want to know the amount.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I know what you're talking about, and you're definitely right. But I think there is a limit on it.
Yeah, there's probably like
I think it's like a dumb amount though, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe. I thought it was like something close to like $10,000.
yeah, I would
Yeah,
assume
it's really
like
weird.
$10,000-$15,000 seems appropriate.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. These people are dumb. You know what though? You know, it'd be great to be these people's friends, because like if this ever happened to
Yeah.
me and like you know,
Like they're
I was
essentially
stupid enough to start
scot-free.
spending the money.
Yeah.
I would just be like, yeah, I'm gonna distribute this to other people.
Yeah, well, I guess so. Like you could
Imagine if it was
you
a
could do
larger
that as
amount of
well.
money. Like
Well,
imagine you like were just like a family person,
Yeah.
like you had a huge family, and like you know you had the option to go to jail for the rest of your life, but you know make your family like supported for the rest of their life. Instead of $120,000, it was $120 million.
Yeah, like if
and
it
so
was
you give
something
every
higher.
120 of your friends and family $1 million,
Yeah.
and then you just like you know tell them to fuck off with it, and then you just go to jail for the rest of your
But
life.
that's the same thing too, I guess. Like if you start spending it stupidly and making these excess purchase, then that's kind of when things are getting like, where are you getting this money from? Mm-hmm. So
well, in Canada,
you would
at
have to
least.
spend it a
I don't
little
care
bit
about the states. I am
smarter,
talking
basically.
about gifting
Well,
100.
no, I'm just saying, in general, you'd have to kind of budget and spend it smart. It's literally just like Breaking Bad. Like that's the same thing too.
Oh,
He's like,
it'd be going in oil drums then and buried in the desert.
well, like, when he had like that whole lump sum of money, he's like, okay, now he found somebody that he scammed into doing like this foundations for this family. So now obviously it's just going to be a tax write-off now. So it's, I guess like if you find someone willing to do that, or just kind of make small increment payments.
So imagine this, Stevie.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if I paid you $120,000. Would you drink a smoothie that had pebbles, pennies, dirt, and hair in it?
Do I know about this beforehand, or?
Oh shit, yeah. Well, I guess if you didn't know, you'd drink it. You'd be like, "Why'd you give me $120,000?"
Like, thanks.
till
Wait
you
till I
get
get
to
to the
the
bottom. Yeah, so that's one of the troubling things too about people handling your food. Have you guys ever used those services like the
Uber Eats or
Uber Eats or DoorDash or anything
Yeah.
like that? Like
I
where
think it's
people
Just Eats and
deliver?
Uber Eats are like no, Just Eats is what we use here mostly. In
Yeah,
Windsor.
yeah.
I don't think we have Uber Eats. Maybe we do. I don't know.
That's Toronto. I think they
We
were
have a
trying
bunch
to come out
here, but they're
yeah.
all like somewhat
Like
local
privately
at some
owned,
level.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever actually used any of those? Because I know
yeah.
before you were talking about your product before that you had. That
Oh, my product. Yeah, that's different.
yeah.
That was good. No, No, but no, me and Nicole order food all the time
Yeah.
on like Just Eats or whatever, and like generally I don't have a problem. Like a lot of big companies in Windsor do it. Like for example,
Yeah.
like McDonald's. You know, they have them there. They actually have a separate line for the people coming to pick this stuff
Yeah.
up, and they. The way McDonald's does it, at least, is they have like this big roll of like giant stickers, and they like seal the bag.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like you're
so it's
getting
like
a
a property
package.
seal. Okay.
Yeah, and like it's like the warranty seal or whatever. Like you can't. Oh, I'm so burpy. You can't possibly break the seal and
Yeah.
then like reseal it or whatever. Like, and if you're a customer and you get that, then like you're gonna be like, hey, somebody ate some French fries, and they like seal it up real good. Like you get like a Big Mac, let's say, and they'll put like 12 stickers on your Big Mac bag. Like they go ham with those stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess it's in a sense the same thing. It's just like a normal delivery service too. So let's say if you order pizza and you have delivery coming to your house, I guess it's kind of very similar to that. Or order Chinese food, you take out and they just deliver it the same. So it's same same concept, but these guys are just kind of miscellaneous hired from like an application base. Not so sure about their whole screening process of what they have to do. I'm not sure if there's like a criminal police record
There's
check
gonna be
behind it.
something.
But ideally, you still have a tendency of, because like you could read the stories too of people messing with people's food and like taking food and like having a bite of their own food and just resealing it and sending it back out.
So nasty.
So yeah, so we have an actual story coming out from Taylor, Michigan, relatively close.
Oh, that's
to
not
home.
even too far.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
here.
it's close to home.
Wow.
Where this couple basically ordered smoothies basically for themselves, like nice little vegan smoothies, ordered from the application of DoorDash. This representative comes over here. I guess he was in a hurry. He delivered the product, gave it to them, and by the time they got to the end, like they were like drinking the whole smoothie and everything too. By the time they actually got to the bottom of it, they realized like a weird texture to it, and the wife actually bit on a pebble. And she was like, "What the hell was that?" So she like spit
Could
it
have
out.
been a seed.
Yeah, she like spit it out and like realized it was like a little piece of stone, and she kind of freaked out, obviously. So she immediately popped open the lid, took a look at the bottom, like strained it out, and like there was a penny and a bunch of like dirt and just like rocks.
Didn't
and
this person
pebbles.
say he like dropped it too? Like he dropped it and tried to put it back in?
Yeah, obviously,
Like,
like
how do you
he
get that much debris back in? Like,
well, I was gonna
what?
say because like it could have been like maybe in like in a holster, and he had like
liquid.
on the bottom of like his vehicle if he had it.
Oh my god!
And it might have just like because
reminds me of James' vehicle.
well, I was gonna say because like you know how a lot of people have like
James just did a curtsy little bow. Cute little bow.
the little floor mats, like the plastic floor mats and everything. So it could have been something similar to that, where obviously just upkeep of his car wasn't up to par, and so it might have like tipped over. So he just like scooped it back in with his hand and just grabbed wherever he wanted.
James,
with it.
would you consume this thing
No.
But
for
like,
120,000?
How much you have to drink?
All of it, and you have to eat the penny.
Then no.
but yeah. So like even just like looking at the bottom, like it just looks like just dirty and like just like
You don't want to do the copper cleanse?
yeah, literally. So I'm not sure exactly because
Yeah,
it didn't really
so,
go and specifies and like talk about if they're going to do any type of lawsuits or anything like that.
I kind of
It's-
get it though. Like, if you're in this, so I like
Mm-hmm.
these businesses kind of. I like the idea at least, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like these workers aren't being paid a fair wage. Like, you're using your own vehicle most of the time.
Yeah.
You're paying for all the upkeep in that, and like upkeep on a vehicle is stupid, especially
Mm-hmm.
like when you do the math over time. Like, it's insane. And like they get paid per, and in some of them you have the option to tip, and some of them you don't.
Yeah.
Usually you get an option to.
Uber Eats, you get the option.
Yeah, Just Eat, you get an option to tip. But like that's up to everybody who you go with, right? So like, hopefully these people are making a decent wage on like tips and stuff. Like there's got to be some incentive for them to do it other than just like trashing their car and like, being
Yeah,
able to
Yeah.
From what I read, I heard it's not worth it to do Uber Eats. Like you're so relying on the tipping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which,
well,
as long as
that's-
the tipping is okay.
I was gonna say that's the same concept for like any of like the actual jobs, but
Every time you get delivery though.
you got to keep in mind
Yeah,
too.
but
Let's
like
say,
Uber doesn't like normally get tips, or Uber Eats like they more likely to get tipped.
yeah, I would assume so
Which
because
is
like
weird,
you
but-
got to keep in the difference too between the states to like Canada itself, the minimum wage
Yeah.
difference, because regardless or not, you mandatory have to pay minimum wage. So minimum wage there is still like 6.25 or something like that.
Oh boy. Well, it depends on where you are, but yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think of that too, but
But yeah. So they did actually, DoorDash did release a statement depending on the actual the incidents. They're just apologize, give them sincere regrets, and they deactivated the delivery man's account and everything as well for the area. And it was funny too, just because they contacted.
that's crazy. Imagine your job could just get deactivated.
That's literally it. It's like
You get
click of a
fired,
button.
just turn it off.
So they
on the
contacted
band.
the general manager of the tropical smoothie cafe that they got the drink from. She was like, "Oh yeah, we thoroughly checked our surveillance cameras. It showed that the smoothie was made properly. So obviously at this point now they just pinpointed down to the delivery guy." And
Oh, that's so gross.
but I don't know, like I said, like a lot of these stories do pop up. Especially too, we have the same situation here with DoorDash yet again in Las Vegas, where this time it wasn't so much of him dropping the smoothie; it was him more or less dropping the general manager of the store that he works with.
Just picked him up, threw him into the ground.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
like I don't know, like this guy, like they said, like he might have had some sort of like mental break at this point where he pulled out a little pocket knife and started stabbing the actual employee because he tried to tell him to deliver the food, and the guy was just like sitting in the parking lot listening to music.
Oh wow.
And like that's where it's coming from. So obviously they
Yeah, that's
filed
so
a
insane.
lawsuit. So this couple filed a lawsuit towards DoorDash, and just for paying for medical bills and costs and everything too. Just because apparently they didn't do a proper screening on the individual that they hired, because this guy already had.
They also deactivated the Dasher from their platform.
So they also what was this? They also found out that this guy has a series of like assault charges and everything too behind him, and yet he was still able to kind of squeeze through the application process of getting hired for DoorDash.
Well, it's kind of crazy too. Another thing, like I like the idea of this too because it gives people or like businesses who don't want to deal with like hiring a delivery person, like
Yeah.
it kind of outsources that task, and like it costs a little more to the end user, but like it's also easier because you can track all of these like deliveries and stuff
Yeah.
online. But yeah, like with these, like it shouldn't be tied to like all these other businesses and stuff. Like it's DoorDash's employee who did this overall, right? At the end of the day, DoorDash is still like a customer of the business, right?
Oh,
And like
yeah,
they
yeah.
work together, right? And like
Yeah.
they're both like providing like a service, right? But like it's still DoorDash's employee. Like it should. I don't know, man. All these like apps and stuff, like the hiring process
Yeah.
seems so impersonal.
So I have a question for you guys. Do you think like they should even have a hiring process for like DoorDash? Like what is the line that like, oh, I need to get screening for this job? Like what do you think should have that line?
Well, I was gonna say it's
because like, do they count as independent contractors as well? Or
I think
I
they
think so.
might be,
They're
yeah.
independent
They would definitely have to be, because I guess it saves them probably like a little bit lump sum, because when they're working with, let's say, an actual company, restaurant, or whatnot, they probably cut ties where it's not that they're going to be paying more what they would just pay a normal employee to do like the deliveries, because if you would have like somebody like a delivery boy for your restaurant, you'd pay gas expense, you'd pay minimum wage, you'd probably have to pay like the additional additives if he has to go out of town.
well, ideally they'd pay for a freaking car too. That's
Yeah.
that's like my biggest pet peeve with
That's
these
exactly
things,
it, for
is they
insurance and
don't
everything.
pay for the vehicle. Like pay for the vehicle. Like you can buy. Where's the place in Windsor? The little yellow Pintos that drive around with the crown on them.
I've never seen those. What?
What,
Really?
Pizza King or something like that?
No, I've
I
never
don't know,
seen
man.
those.
I see them all the time. You don't really see them so much anymore. Like maybe that business went out or all
Okay.
their cars broke or something. But like for the longest time, they had like a little fleet of like 3 or 4 delivery vehicles, and like they just deliver pizzas. And they had these crappy old cars, and it was like it looked like a taxi. Like you knew that somebody was getting
wow.
pizza every
Yeah.
time you saw that damn car. But yeah, like those were company cars. Like that's how it should be. I don't think that.
You should be
Like
using your own.
imagine you were like a carpenter or like a house builder or something like that.
Yeah.
And I know this is like the case for like a lot of independent home contractors and stuff like that. They have to bring their own tools. They use their own tools for
Yeah,
the
oh, yeah,
livelihood.
that's
But
like
imagine you
mandatory,
showed
yeah.
up to like build a building and they were like, "Oh yeah, you need to bring your own tools."
Bring your own
Like
cranes.
what? Yeah, like I don't understand, like especially like expensive tools. Like
Yeah.
having a driver's license and being licensed and registered and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All those things are important or whatever. But like if your job is to take my product and deliver it to customers
Mm-hmm.
for my benefit, as like the employer, then like I should also be providing that vehicle and the thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And if that affects your wage at all, or it affects like what I have to charge my customers, then so be it. But it should never, the onus should never, I feel like, be on the employee
Yeah.
to, provide that vehicle. I never understand that. Except for in the case of like Uber and stuff, right? Like those are meant to be like shared.
Yeah.
But they should also probably get paid more.
I don't know. It probably just comes down to obviously now just cost and the insurance costs. You just have to deal with all of that as well. A lot of unnecessary paperwork if they just kind of go from a third party at this point now. So it probably saves them a little bit. and a little bit of a headache, plus like their own.
Yeah, all these companies though, they're making so much money. They have very minimal staff, and like they're just standing on the backs of everybody else. It seems, and in like the most literal sense, like they are paying other people to do things, but just benefiting from being able to make those connections. We should do something like that.
Just start something local business and then just like get it out there for everybody.
We'll do a rickshaw business. Me and you will sit on the rickshaw and we'll have James pull us.
Sounds like a
I'm
fair
a good
trade-off.
puller.
He's a good puller.
Well, on that note, did you guys recently hear about the story of BangBros?
Well, it wouldn't be a James episode without talking about BangBros. So yes,
James, how much is a BangBros subscription?
I have no idea.
Dang,
I think
we're going
it's-
to catch him.
I think it's like $10 a month.
James, has anybody ever caught you masturbating?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Have I ever
3
caught
people.
you masturbating?
No. I have a
No.
good hiding spot.
So the excuse,
Oh, man.
you got my attention.
You guys
So-
want to know? No.
Under the table. So there's a recent article that just came up into the shining lights of the people who don't know what BangBros is.
Of the
It's-
internet.
For people who don't know what BangBros is, they're an adult company industry. They recently just submitted a $10 million naming rights for the bidding of Miami Heat's arena. That's for basketball. So
Tell us more, Steven.
thoughts, rebuttals?
That's a fact. So I don't have a rebuttal. To
Yeah,
that
no,
fact.
yeah, what do you...
So as far as it goes right now, apparently, who owns the rights right now? American Airlines.
Yes, American.
Their deal is set to expire at the end of the year. So BangBros.
Wait, so that's how that naming works? So, like,
Yeah.
you hold a license to name it for 10 years, so you could change the name every year if you wanted to?
it's the same thing that happened recently in Toronto for the Rogers Center.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't know that. I thought that it was, like, always the same thing.
No. So it's basically for the higher bidder gets their naming rights at this point, so they can do advertisements.
Oh, my God, that's so stupid.
So I
Whatever,
think-
cool.
I think at this point too, they get to kind of, since now they have the legal rights, they can choose like the advertisements and everything too. So
Not really like that. Like a big thing is like whenever they go to Miami, like having Miami games, they would be like, oh, at the BangBros Center.
Yeah.
And then like they would have like a little like pin or something.
Oh, man.
Of like
So-
a BangBros like pin or something
So-
or like a patch.
with this as well, the best part is what they're naming it, the BBC or the BangBros Center.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say too. I have one other question though before we kind of talk about that. But like
Okay.
they put in a $10 million bid. Like,
Yes.
what is everybody else bidding? Like, what is a common?
I don't know.
10 million seems low to me, to be honest.
It is
Does
seem
it?
like I don't know.
Yeah, because like how long
Like
is this
is-
contract for?
Maybe it's like 10 million per year. That's what I thought.
Maybe.
Like, I'm like 10. Like I would guess like 100 million. That's for like a basketball center. Like
I don't know,
Yeah,
unless
I-
they just want to do it for like a year or something like that. But I don't know
Well,
if they have like a
10 million a
mandatory
year.
a
But
leeway
you
of.
probably have to do it for like a 10 years.
Yeah,
or
they'd be
something.
like, if you name it, it's like a 5-10 year contract
Yeah.
commitment.
Yeah.
Like it could be something like that. But
One
wish-
of the tweet responses was like, "Best arena in the league if this happens, and they have to change all the seats to these, and it's just black couches."
oh my god, can you imagine?
Oh, that's awesome.
I just want to see like the advertisements, like inside, if they do have the capability of actually choosing which advertisement goes and gets displayed inside of it, like casting couch and all that as
It's a
well.
gorgeous evening here in downtown Miami as we look forward to a star-studded night of NBA action here at the BangBros Center. Here's Doris Burke reporting from the sideline. Oh man, like that's just how that would sound. BangBros Central.
To be honest, BangBros is the most successful business out of Miami. So
Oh, it's actually out of Miami too.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
That was
that's
another
freaking hilarious. Man, can you imagine if this actually goes through?
There's no way. Like
Like
I
I'm
don't know.
sure it's like probably like a 1% chance that it's even on like the board of
I
them
think
to
it's like
do it.
0.1. I don't even.
But-
I think people just need to suck it up.
Well, I was gonna say like because if they were to make like this outrageous bid, oh, I missed that pun.
Oh boy.
If it was like
I'll
this,
spit it out.
I was gonna say because if this was like an outrageous, outrageous amount that they actually put down, so let's say like a normal bid's like 5 million or something like that, and do you think if they were
would
to
just-
outbid everybody, they would just say like, okay, fine, let's do it.
I don't know. Is that how that works? Like on eBay, if
Sure,
somebody
why
bid
not?
$10 million and I bid $5 million, well, they would win.
The owner still has like a choice, or
Yeah,
whoever
yeah,
owns the center, in like the mayor. I think I don't know who has the decision, but I imagine like a committee or somewhere.
Yeah,
It's like whoever owns the center. So I would guess the mayor or like the town
because
council.
that's the thing is too, like this is going to be like their front face for quite a while, depending on how long their contracts are set for, and it's obviously majority of it's going to be not safe for work. Like, oh, is this the stuff that we want to kind of have like children facing to kind of say what is BangBros?
Yes.
So that's
the
when
kids young.
things kind of get a little bit risky at this
Oh,
point
man.
if it actually does go.
So
through.
like, you know how like let's say it was American Airlines, right?
Yeah.
You know, while you're watching the game, it'd be like the halftime show, and they got those like big screens up there.
Yeah.
It's like an American Airlines ad or whatever. And then like during the halftime show, it's just like a Bang Bros ad.
Oh my god.
You know, one thing that I think, like, despite the fact that like these companies, you know, generally don't dabble in wholesome content and stuff
Yeah.
like that, like a lot of times, like you'll find that like they are actually like very like positive contributors to like the communities that they operate out of. Like they'll donate to like children's charities, medical charities and stuff. Like there's just like an excess of money here, and they have like a strong urge to donate and contribute to like society and making society a better place.
It's like the same situation with like Pornhub, where where it's just
they
like
do lots of interesting stuff.
like a lot of like not some of this like volunteer work, but giving back in a sense to the community as well. It's just like, oh, if you every 100th episode watch, we'll plant a tree in like the Amazon for like the areas that's being torn down and everything too, like that. And it's like, oh, and they had the whole Greenpeace movement and everything as well. But one thing I really want to mention is, can you imagine if they have like the Bang Bro girls for like halftime?
They're
And
wearing
just
like shoelaces as tops.
they're just like bringing out the black casting couch
Oh my
for
god!
like their part-time
That
halftime
would be a
show.
great halftime show.
That would be
Yeah.
hilarious.
I, honestly, though, like if it did happen, and like it's not going to happen, but if it did happen, like they'd probably dedicate that time in the middle, or like any time that they had to like, you know, put up things that they wanted, it'd probably be like wholesome stuff. Like they realize that basketball's like a family event and whatever.
Yeah, they would probably obviously go that way. There's no way that they're out there for malicious intent. But wasn't it Bang Bros as well who recently purchased the porn wiki? Did you hear about that? There's this basically porn site. It's just called Porn Wiki, where just a bunch of neckbeards are posting personal detailed information about porn stars, like accounts, their cell phones, their home address, like all the information of like their loved ones, and they're just making it readily available on these sites. So they finally got to the point where I'm pretty sure it's Bang Bros. They just got to the point where it's just like, like the hell with these people. So they bought out this site, bought their servers, and they just like set fire to like everything, just because it's just like a lot of people, taking their time to kind of go into like personal information of all the stars and casts and getting harassed, like the harassments and everything that follows on it. So I don't know. That's another good thing of what they're doing is they're taking the extra initial step of protecting their own in a sense for people who work for them, obviously, and in the industry as well.
Yeah,
I don't know,
the porn industry is like so strange because like
it's so like taboo to talk about, so no one really talks
and like
about
nobody
it.
wants to like deal with it and whatever and blah blah. But
Because,
then like
yeah,
at the same time like. And especially like porn is generally like addicting and like people get stuck.
Just
in
ask
a
Terry
cycle.
Crews.
Oh boy, and like people and it like kind of like gives you like unrealistic expectations towards sex.
Yeah.
And like it reduces like intimacy between like partners and stuff like that,
Yeah.
especially if you're like a frequent flyer of the
An addict.
flying your own flagpole kind of thing. But
I'm a platinum member. And
you paid the subscription yearly, billed once.
We got a reference for the guys, but what a personal DJ for the females.
What?
I said we got the reference for the guys for the if you want to like flag your own or raise your own flagpole or whatever, like you said.
what are you saying?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Well, you're using your references, and I said, what if we have one for the females? Be your own DJ.
Oh,
There you go.
disc jockey. Got it. Well, yeah, women have masturbate. Yeah.
What?
I don't believe it.
But yeah, like it causes all these problems and whatever,
Yeah.
and like, you know, they're just providing the content or whatever, but like the companies themselves, like they get all this money and stuff, and then I think it's like, because it's so taboo to talk about it or be involved with it and stuff like that, that they do community outreach because they're a porn company, and any good deed is like publicity, like heavy publicity. And then they probably like the people who like run these things probably are just like, ha ha ha, now they have to like say our name.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
It's just like a giant cuck.
Yeah.
And like, you know, maybe they feel good about it, maybe they don't, but whatever. Like if it's just a troll, if they've figured out a way to turn doing good deeds into a troll, sure, whatever.
Yeah. It's all a positive outcome at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah.
These damn pines just won't stop.
Oh my god.
As long as it ends with a happy ending, I'm
Just
happy.
pure smut, vitriol.
They all write
Coming
themselves.
out. But yeah, anyways, I don't think this is gonna happen. I think it's funny, and
It's hilarious. It got people
I
talking
love how
about it,
they were like, yeah, we're gonna call it the BBC. Imagine that too. They like rent it out for like porn viewings, live porn viewing.
Wow.
Got them on the big screen, like now kiss,
Keith.
now kiss. Yeah,
I could just like see them using the stadium for their own like little personal gain, where they actually have a
they
bunch
just
of
lock it up for however long the contract is for. It's just the naming rights, though. They don't actually get to do anything in there.
go into the
Whatever.
stadium. It just smells like squid.
Oh,
Justin Bieber at your BBC center.
baby, baby, baby. Oh,
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh man, that's such a strain. This has happened elsewhere though. Oh, I totally lost my train of thought. Forget what I was gonna say.
What happened elsewhere?
Whatever. Yeah, porn companies are always trying to buy stuff though. Oh, like the girl who couldn't pay her tuition or whatever, and then like there was one recently where Taylor Swift like paid this girl's tuition or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, like porn companies have like reached out, and it's always the girls obviously, but they'll like reach out and just like pay their tuition and like, you know, exchange information, I guess. Like,
Wow.
let us know when you turn 18.
Like we'll pay for it. We get you for 2 videos.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyways, if that's all wrapped up, we have nothing else to say about BBC.
I have a lot to say about BBCs, but that's a different
Oh,
episode.
oh
That's,
man. Yeah, James is
That's
nothing
a non-James episode.
Yeah, no, that's a James asked to borrow the camera episode. Oh boy,
That's an under the table episode.
the under the table episode.
Midnight with Hotline Hangout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Hotline Hangout after
After hours. There you go.
Man, it already is after hours. Oh, I'm ready for bed.
This is funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
We never recorded this late, actually. Is this kind
Wait,
of
oh man, I thought you were about to say like we're not recording, and I'm like, what?
all this time.
Oh boy, what a waste.
Oh boy.
That was a waste too.
Right.
Anyways, thank you for listening to another episode of Hotline Hangout. Stevie, where can the good people find us?
The good people can find us at Twitter at Hotline Hangout, followed by on our Instagram at Hotline Hangout Podcast, followed by youtube.com at Hotline Hangout. Should you deem and want to email us, you can reach us at hotlinehangout@gmail.com.
And as always, rate us on iTunes because we want to make it to not the bottom of the charts. Like we're last right now.
Oh, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I don't really care. But you should rate us because if enough people rate us, then other people will listen and our episodes will get better and I can quit my job.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I can quit my job too.
Yeah, I want to donate $10 million to name it the BBC. They won't know it's coming.
The big busty Shane. Chason.
That's not how you spell Shane. Anyways,
With a C.
my name is Shane. This has been Hotline Hangout.
I'm Steven.
My name is James. Bye, Shane's grandma.
That's the sign off for some reason. Anyways.
Peace.
Namaste. Let me see if I can do it. I want to do my Mickey. Oh boy. Follow us on Hotline Hangout.